Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Josh Bowerly. Welcome to another episode of the Entrepreneur's Playbook, where we help 7- and 8-figure businesses ignite their financial superpowers. I'm here as always with Ron Parisi. Ron, how you doing today?
Oh, great, Josh. Wonderful to be with you. Nice cold winter day here in Ohio. So, yeah.
Yep. Back after the holidays. We've had a little break here, and you got some exciting news coming up. As we record this, you're about to release your second book, The Entrepreneur's Tax Playbook. Can you tell us a little bit about it and what we should look forward to?
Yeah, as I say, this is my second installment. So I know we talked a little about the financial superpowers, and then this week we're releasing the Entrepreneur's Tax Playbook in plain English. And I'll just give you a little rundown. So the financial superpowers is really what we talked about, no rear view accounting. We look at rear view accounting has its place, but our emphasis is always prospective, going forward looking financials, marrying that long-term plan that you have with what's going on and helping you really maximize and optimize the resources, the energies you put into your company. And then with that sort of going forward perspective, longer term perspective, we wrote the tax book because so many times prospects and new clients come to us and they're so concerned about what am I doing in December of that year to reduce taxes? And it's not just the year planning, it's really a 5-year planning. If you're listening to this podcast, I know you want to grow your business, right? Everybody wants to get bigger, be more profitable, make a bigger impact on this world. As you grow, different tax strategies come into place. And sometimes it's not in your best interest looking at the 5-year period. Hey, let me maximize my deductions today. So really the book is just a mindset book. Obviously there's some strategies in here as well, but really looking at, as an entrepreneur, looking at that long-term tax strategy. So yeah.
Awesome.
What are we jumping in today? What's our topic?
Yeah, so this is one I'm hoping you can provide some information on because I'm getting all kinds of questions on it. And
Okay.
it is the Corporate Transparency Act.
All right.
So why don't you tell us what you know about this and why we should be concerned about it?
Man, as I say, this isn't even the IRS. This is FinCEN. I guess it goes back to the government trying to prevent money laundering. I don't know if you're a cynic, you could say the government trying to gain more access to our information. But anyway, our government passed the Corporate Transparency Act. And essentially what's happened is we have all these LLCs, corporations, partnerships registered with the Secretary of State in all 50 states and beyond. And what they want you to do is go into the FinCEN website and register your business, and then also register beneficial owners of that business. And we'll get into it, but basically it's a one-time deal, essentially. And you have the whole year to do it. What I've been cautioning my clients to do, unless there's a real urgency, let's wait we'll talk a little about what needs to be done, but let's wait at least until springtime to really start thinking about the compliance piece of this. But it is a crazy situation because I can tell you how many entities have been created and are out there. And I was thinking about some of the entities that I've set up in my lifetime. I don't even know if I've dissolved those entities. And now all of a sudden I'm going to have to report on them. So I think it's going to be an interesting unfolding of the 12 months. And I don't know, rough numbers, 35 million entities out there in the country. I heard that number. I don't know. But then you look at how many beneficial owners there are. So double that, triple that. So that's a lot of people going onto one website to register. Again, let's get into it. Where do you want to start?
Yeah, as you say that, I'm sitting here thinking I have 5 active LLCs that I do for real estate and all these other various things. And like you said, I have to have 4 or 5 others out there that I've set up over the years and either never did anything with or started something with and never dissolved. And how many people out there are just like that? Because if you're an entrepreneur, most of us are sitting there trying to start other ventures and God, this is going to be a mess, right?
It's a complete mess. And two, yeah, we're all moving so fast forward. And you're like, all right, now I have to pause what I'm doing. I got to recapture what I just did in the last X number of years, figure out how many entities I have out there. And then two, it gets a little tricky. So let's just go from the top, right? The top is what we're going to call the CTA, the Corporate Transparency Act. And your first thing is who needs to file. And basically it's anything, LLCs, any type of other companies that you filed with the Secretary of State, right? There's some exceptions. If you're a bigger company, you have, they say 20 full-time employees over 5 million, you have a physical address. I don't know why you don't have to apply, but anyways, but basically everybody, the majority of people probably on this cast and running businesses are probably under 50 or 5 million in gross sales. So what do you have to do? The first thing you have to do is you have to register the company. So you have to go on the website, you have to register the company. But the big piece is you have to register all the beneficial owners, right? And how they define, I'm going to read this so everybody gets it right, is that is an individual, beneficial owner is an individual that has substantial control or owns 25% or more of the company, right? All right, easy, 25% of the company, but substantial control is interesting. Senior officers, has authority for appointment or removal of senior officers, right? So then you're talking about board members, right? Directs, determines, or substantial influence over the important decisions of the company. I don't know who that is, right? Who exactly, what amounts to important decisions? So it's really, it's going to be a question mark exactly who a beneficial owner is to your company. So you may be the sole owner, that's very easy, but you may have employees that help that maybe run certain divisions or departments of your company. Do they need to report? Possibly. So it's just a lot of questions about this, but I think let's just talk about the timeline. So if you registered an LLC in New York, California, Texas, whatever, you have to go on to this FinCEN website. You have to register the company, and then you also have to register all the beneficial owners, right? You have all of 2024 to do that. So you have the entire year to do it. So just think of 365. So all of 2024. But then there's also two other important dates, right? The first thing is if you start a new company in 2024, you have 90 days to register it. So all of a sudden that period shrinks. So you register a new company this year, you're going to have to comply within 90 days. The next big piece is once you register, any changes need to be reported within 30 days. So that means you register, say you register in April, you have a change in your equity, you have a change in leadership. You have to be mindful to say, okay, I have to go onto this website, sign back in and report that change within 30 days of that change happening. So that's like that's going to be
Let me ask
the
a
second
question.
big compliance. Yeah.
Yeah. So what would you change your address? Does that qualify? You change your name or add doing business as, does that kind of stuff qualify as a
I think
substantial
it
change?
does. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely your address, different names of the company if you're doing a DBA. Yep. So like it's a lot of permutations, right? Yeah. Yeah. Pretty crazy stuff. And then I think the next thing is if you claim to be a Gen X, maybe have some a trepidation to disclosing all your information. There's also what's interesting is a unique ID, right? A unique identifier. And you have the ability to create a unique identifier for you, right? So like you said, you have 4 different companies, right? So what is an ideal situation is you'd go to the website and before you'd register your companies, you would obtain a unique identifier for you, right? And then that unique identifier encapsulates all of your like address, social security, all your personal information. And then as you go and you register your different companies, instead of having to report Josh Bowerly, 123 Social Security, 15 Maple Lane, all you have to do is just put your unique identifier number in there. It will shrink down the amount of reporting that needs to be done. And I feel like at least it adds a level of protection to the disclosure of information. So I would suggest people investigate that. But I think that's, again, just want people to be aware of it, be aware that they have some time to be in compliance on this. And then I guess the last piece is where do we go from here? And we've been working with some of the larger sort of corporate registration companies. I know they're rolling out. I'm looking for somebody with technology that can handle this for a lot of my clients that are going to be, one, relatively affordable, two, adhere to making sure everything gets done properly. So I think some of these corporate registration companies are going to be the bill to help at least our clients do it. State laws vary, whether this is the practice of law or not. These are things that at least CPI Fire doesn't want to get into. I'm always a big believer in giving the reins to the experts. Hopefully, over time, we'll figure out who some of the big players can be to help our clients be in compliance on this. I don't really know what the fees are going to be and how much the costs are going to be. But the nice thing is, if there's a if there is a silver lining, other than the changes, this is just a one-time registration. So, Josh, like once you register those 4 companies, as long as there's no changes, right? There's really nothing you need to do in 2025 too. There's no, "Oh, I have to do this every 3 years, every 5 years." Really, it's just register it and then just be mindful of any changes that you'd have to go back to the website and register or make those changes in the registration. So,
Interesting. So I think that's a key point is that when you said CPA on fire is not going to handle this, and I think a lot of CPAs and tax professionals aren't going to handle this because it feels like it's a tax compliance issue, but it's not. It's not a tax issue. It's not an accounting issue. It's almost more of a legal issue. It's like re-registering your LLC with the state every year, or however often you have to do it with your state. So
yeah.
don't think this is just going to be something that your tax professional handles for you when they file your taxes. It's not a part of that. It's a completely separate issue.
Yeah. I mean, we do the only interaction, at least the majority of the interaction we do with FinCEN is the FBARs, right? That's when you have money or interest overseas. So there are some between the IRS and FinCEN, there are some forms that kind of cross over. But yeah, this is a whole brand new recording that I think is outside of the accounting tax realm. Feels a little more legal, but I simulate if your state has annual filings, if you're in Delaware and you have to pay certain taxes with the Secretary of State, California, feels like that. And I just say work either with your legal, work with your accounting, and maybe we'll find a solution that leverages the technology and make sure we're in full compliance.
Yeah. So, and what question on the registration? So, is it one registration? Am I going to, and we may not even know the answers to this yet, but am I going to go in and I'm going to register my company? And as I'm registering the company, they're going to say, all right, now list your beneficial owners or beneficial, whatever the terminology is there. Or is it going to be, I register my company and then I have to do a separate registration for all the beneficial people in the organization?
I think you can do it all at once, but that's just a guess. I haven't
Yeah.
quite, somebody walked me through it on a presentation. So I'm basing it on their presentation. I think you do it all at once, but I can't be 100% certain on that.
Yeah. I think most of this, we're not going to be at all certain until we get there.
Yeah.
All right.
But
So, yeah, go ahead.
no, I was just saying, it's just the most important thing is just to allow people to recognize that there's something you need to do to be in compliance. I think it's like $500 a day penalty,
Yes.
like it's ridiculous penalties. So just again, keep it on your radar. And most importantly, once you register it this year, make it on your radar if there's any changes that those changes need to be registered as well within 30 days.
Yeah, that's going to be my next question or next thought is, of course, we all have these thoughts of the government has enough information on me. They don't need more information. I'm not going to do this. It is as of now, a pretty big company, guys. And who knows how that will actually go in enforcing it and who knows what will happen. But I think we should plan to do what we can to comply with this and get hit with those $500 a day. Is that what you said? 500 a day?
Yeah, I
$500
think,
per
yeah,
day?
$500 a day. I know it's capped. I don't exactly know what number the
Right.
cap is.
Either way, even just a flat $500 for those
It's
multiple
painful.
LLCs.
Yeah, painful to know him.
Yeah. So yeah, it's something that needs to be on our radar. So just to recap it, if you have existing LLCs before 2024, you do not have to take action until the end of the year, but that has to be done before the end of 2024, right? There's nothing
That's
they have
correct.
to do today, tomorrow, nothing during tax season. And your advice, and I would agree with it, wait as long as possible at this point because changes probably will be made in between now and then. The hard part comes if you're registering a new company, right? If you go today and you set up a 123 Lane Avenue LLC, you are expected to do this within 90 days of registering it, right?
That's correct.
Okay. Yeah. For those of you with your existing LLCs and other entities, nothing you need to worry about until the end of the year. For those of you just getting something started, this needs to be on your radar right away.
Yeah. And then again, I wouldn't wait to the end of the year, nor I would
Sure.
do the
Yes.
I think it's like a spring summer project, at least for us, and probably for you guys as well. But no, appreciate it, Josh. Always a pleasure being with you.
Yeah.
I guess we'll until next time. Appreciate
Yeah.
it.
And I'm sure people are going to have questions about this. Feel free to reach out. CP on Fire. How can they get in touch if they want to? And we don't have a lot of information at this point, but if they just want to get the basics of what we talked about, how should they reach out?
Yeah, I was gonna say, just visit the website. And then two is we put out every Friday, Downfire Fridays blog. And I plan on revisiting this topic in our newsletter and our blogs throughout the year. So just to keep it in people's minds. So if they haven't filed yet, at least it's in there. And then if we do come across any third-party companies that can assist, we'll publish that. We're just going to try to stay ahead of the issue and kind of inform our posse or our tribe here.
Awesome. This has been a super informative episode for me. So hopefully it is for everybody else out there. Guys, again, let us know what you want to hear. We're happy to talk about the stuff you guys want to talk about, the stuff you guys want to know. So get at us. Let us know what you want to hear, and we will see you next week.
Thanks a lot, Josh. Take care, bud. Thank you.